I started doing this, I became way more productive. As you know, there is not unlimited writing time in a day, so it's very important that we learn strategies to make the time that we do have to write as productive as possible. By the end of this video, you are going to be equipped with concrete strategies for how to get the most out of your writing time, so that you can write for less time and be just as productive as you would be writing with more time. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning young adult author who makes videos sharing the actionable writing tips that helped me make my writing better. If this sounds like a channel that would be interesting to you, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I make videos every week. So my first tip for how to be more productive in your writing time is write at the same time every day. As soon as I started doing this, I became way more productive. If you write at the same time every day and even in the same place, then you are going to slowly start training your brain that at that time of day and at that particular place, that is where and when you are going to be writing. I personally write at the same time every day, and it's gotten to the point that when I don't write at that time every day, I can feel kind of weird, like something's not quite right. Like I really feel like I need to be writing at that time every day. Not only does this help me focus when I actually sit down to write, but it also helps make sure that I actually write every day. You want to find the right time for you where you not only feel the most focused, but you also can write at that time every day. Life can get weird and things can get in the way, so you want to find a time that you believe you can really realistically stick to every day in order to start creating this writing habit. For me, I write as soon as I wake up in the morning. I chose this time because it's when I feel the most alert, and I also genuinely love writing, so it helps get me out of bed because I'm excited to go sit down at the computer. There are also not too many things or distractions that are calling for my attention that early in the morning, so I'm able to protect that time a lot more than if I chose a writing time of, let's say, 3 p.m. But everybody is different and everybody focuses at different times, so do some experimentation and try to narrow in on a specific time that works best for you. My second tip is to spend 5 minutes before you write to gather your thoughts. Instead of jumping right into writing as soon as you sit down at your keyboard, just spend 5 minutes word vomiting about what you are going to be writing. Don't put a filter on yourself, just free write. Start sketching out what your character's intentions are, what kind of mood they're in, what the climax is going to be of the scene, what sort of things they're going to be fighting about, what they think about each other. Just start getting your brain warming up a little bit before you actually start writing your scene, because even just taking 5 minutes will start kickstarting your imagination enough that when you actually start writing the scene, it's going to flow so much easier. I like to treat this as my writing warm-up, like the stretches or muscle activation exercises I do before doing a workout. Just spending these 5 minutes allows me to be more productive and put more words on the page because I'm more confident going into that writing session. Even spending those 5 minutes really helps my productivity because it means that I'm not constantly thinking about what I'm going to be writing about as I'm writing about it. I already know what I'm going to be writing about, so I can really just take that scene and run with it when I actually start writing. My third tip is write in sprints or work in sprints. When I'm drafting and really focused on how to get as many words on the page as possible, I like to focus on doing short, intense bursts of productivity instead of trying to write without any breaks over a longer period of time. What I've started doing that has really helped me is that I will set a timer for 15 minutes and I'll set a target word count goal, which for me right now, I'm doing 500 words every 15 minutes. I use a word processor called Scrivener, and in Scrivener, I have this really cool feature called the project tracker. And in the project tracker, you can put a word count goal into the project tracker, and then over the course of your writing session, it'll show you how close you are to reaching that goal. And once you do reach that goal, the project tracker turns green, and when you're close to reaching that goal, it stays blue. So I set my 15-minute timer, and over the course of that 15 minutes, I can see myself getting closer and closer to my 500-word goal. I used to set project tracker goals of like 3,000 words, and I would work towards filling up the bar over the course of a morning, but that didn't motivate me the same way as these short little 15 minutes of focus motivates me. It's been a total game changer, and you can also do this for productivity. You don't have to measure it the same way because you really can't measure it the same way, but find bursts of time where you can really focus and hone in on what you're doing, and then take a little break afterwards and then go back to it for 15 minutes. My fourth tip, and this is a little bit more of a me thing, I don't know if it'll also be a you thing, but don't write right after you eat a giant meal. Every single time I eat lunch or dinner, I get pretty lethargic afterwards. Same thing for immediately after I work out. I get pretty tired and it's harder for me to get back into that place of focus that I need in order to write. This is especially true after lunch. That's why I do all of my writing in the morning and then I eat lunch afterwards, and then I'll go and I'll do marketing and kind of creative promotional stuff in the afternoon. And then before dinner, when I'm starting to get hungry again, I'll write again. When you're lethargic, it's impossible to focus. I don't even try to write when I'm feeling that way because I'm just gonna end up getting distracted and scrolling through Instagram, and it's gonna be a really miserable time. So when you plan out the time of day that you're gonna wanna be writing, I recommend not planning it directly after you eat lunch and directly after you eat dinner. I'm pretty sure the human brain also focuses better when you're a little bit hungry, so that's another reason I like writing in the mornings. Also, side note, I didn't really talk about this before, but you don't have to write every single day in order to be a productive writer. When you're figuring out a time that you want to write every day, just think about that as a time that you want to write on all the days that you're gonna write anyway. It's your protected writing time, because if the time is protected, then it's more likely that you're going to actually sit down and write. And my fifth tip, the final tip, is probably not one that's gonna surprise you. Limit distractions. If you decide to start writing in sprints, under no circumstances should you be looking on your phone, checking your emails, checking your sales reports, checking your social media. You should only be focused on the task at hand. When I'm doing productivity sprints, I usually shoot for an hour and a half of intense focus, and then I will have like a 20-minute break, and then I'll go back and I'll do another hour and a half of intense focus. During those periods of intense focus, I do not go on my phone. I have Do Not Disturb on. I do have certain people that if they really need to reach me, they can get through my Do Not Disturb, just in case it's an emergency or something, but I force myself not to go on social media, and it's really hard, but I also force myself not to scroll through the internet or go check my emails. Admittedly, I'm a little bit addicted to my emails. There are apps you can use like Focus. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, where you grow a tree whenever you don't go on social media for a specific allotted amount of time when you're studying. I used to use it in college. You can also use it in this context. You can also really just be very disciplined with yourself and force yourself not to do it. I like putting my phone in a drawer or putting it on a charger across the room and then just making sure that I don't look on the internet. It's really hard for me to disconnect my computer to Wi-Fi because a lot of the times I need to look things up as I'm writing, but do your best because it's so easy, as you know, to get sucked down social media rabbit holes and stop being able to pay attention to what you're doing, because especially if it's something that's really hard that you need to concentrate on, anything is going to be more appealing than having to actually concentrate on that thing. If you are able to limit distractions, I promise you're going to have a more productive writing session because you're going to spend more time actually writing. So that's it for my video on 5 things that you can do to be more productive as you're writing. If you are interested in actually learning how to write more words every single hour, I made another video on that and it's linked in the description below. I talk about all the strategies that I used in order to boost my word count up to 5,000 words a day. I don't write 5,000 words every day. I now really write between 3,000 and 5,000 words a day. Sometimes 2,000 if I have to write something that's super research heavy. But I am gonna start experimenting with dictation because I've started experiencing some weird wrist pain that I think might be early onset carpal tunnel or something. So I'm gonna start working on getting better at dictating my books because right now I'm terrible at it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it and to subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a good week, everyone, and as always, happy writing.